I am so overjoyed because right now we're going to take a deep dive with a journalist who broke a lot of top news stories during his career, kept us in the loop, and on everything that's happening that affected our culture. Today he'll be talking about his faith, identity, and the challenges of being a gay black man in the Southern Black Church. Essence Fest. First, let's welcome moderator, contributing news and politics editor Melissa Noel. And the man of the hour, award-winning journalist Don Lemon, author of the soon-to-be-released book, I Once Was Lost.
It was the come on down style. Wait. Turn it, flip it up. Perfect.
Hello? Oh, I'm here.
There we go. Now we're on.
Y'all, it's hot. Can we tell them how I got here?
We should tell them how you got here. We got to tell you a little story. Let's start with a little story.
Let me tell you a little story about a man named Jed, named Don. I walked over from the hotel. I walked all the way back to the end of the convention center. I was about to pass out.
Lord.
I begged someone to let me in. I had to take my jacket off. I'm wearing white jeans. People are like, "You're not in the Hamptons."
But you look fly.
But I got it. Oh my God, I'm so hot. I grew up here, right?
Yes.
But I forget how hot it can be here.
So, in other words, it was a journey for you to be on the stage
my
right
life,
now. So, can we
right.
clap it up for Don Lemon on the journey?
Thank you guys for being here.
So again, I'm Melissa Noel, Essence News and Politics editor. I am so honored to just be here in conversation with you this afternoon. And we're talking about something today that so many of, all of us deal with, all of us may have struggled with at one time or another, and that's faith. And so you've written several books before, Don, and now you're writing about this really, really specific topic that so many of us can relate to. But why was it so important for you to write an entire book on faith?
Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here. I'm honored to be with you as well. I have been, how many of you are believers? You believers? Okay, good. I'm glad, and some people didn't raise their hand. I'm not going to call you out. But I think this book is relatable to people who are even non-believers. You guys can come in if you want to come on in. Come on. You don't have to be, don't be scared. Because I've been a believer my entire life, and I've been told, at certain points in my life that I wasn't living the way God wanted me to live, or doing what God wanted me to do, or I wasn't going to church enough, or that I was going to go to hell, or all kinds of things, right? And it was coming from the same book that taught America that slavery was okay. At least they used the Bible to justify slavery that way. Right. It's not actually what the Bible says, or that God said. So I started writing a book initially just about religion. Growing up Catholic, growing up Baptist, and going to a Catholic school in the Deep South in Louisiana.
Ooh, that's an experience within itself.
And then the whole thing happened at CNN, and the book changed into something that I was not expecting. I actually I go on a spiritual journey and a discovery in the book. And I actually question my own faith, and I question my own belief in God. And the book is called I Once Was Lost, which comes from my grandmother, which comes from, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound to save a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. But was blind, but now I see. And so that was my grandmother's favorite hymn. And my grandmother was, back in the day, that's what we call nannies now. My grandmother raised me while my mom was working. And so I've started speaking to the ancestors and asking them what they wanted me to do. And the book just started coming to life. It became a whole new book. I called the editor and told them, and they said, okay, then start rewriting. We love what you have here, but start rewriting. And it's called My Search for God in America. And as I was going through my journey, America was going through its journey, and it's going through its journey now. And especially over the last couple of days, we're really about to go on a journey.
A big one.
Where we're going to have faith, but faith without what? Works is dead. And you know what that means. go vote.
Can we
Right?
say that again? Can
Go
we say that-
vote.
Go vote.
But so let me just tell you, this book was supposed to come out in November after the election because we did not want to get, sort of eaten up in in election coverage.
Right.
When the editors read it, they said, this book has to come out before the election because everybody needs to read this. I wrote it, but it's an impactful book. It's a really, really good book. When I read it, I actually was listening to it, the audio version, on the plane on the way over, and I was like, wow, you did good, Don. And then you did good, God. But that's what happened. I sort of went on a journey. I got let go from CNN, and my life changed in a big way, and I had to really question my faith. But in the questioning is where the faith comes from. Is where the strength of a mustard seed comes from. And here I am, still thriving.
So I want to talk a little bit about that, right? You talked about being let go from CNN. You were there for 17 years.
Yeah.
You are a veteran, award-winning, well-respected journalist. How did your faith get you
Closer.
through? How did your faith get you through such a difficult time?
Well, I always believed, but then you wonder when things happen to you because some things that happen. It's not the first time that I've gone through questioning. I had a succession of deaths in my family: my grandmother, my father, my stepfather, my cousin, my aunt, just things like that. And then my sister died, and I started going on this spiritual journey. My sister died in 2018, and just it was an accidental drowning here in Louisiana, and I got the call at work. And so that's when it really started. And then during George Floyd is when I said, you know what, I need to write another book and talk about that. But your question was, how did it affect me?
How did your faith get you through, the situation that happened with being let go from CNN after such a long time?
Because I didn't believe that God brought me. I know it's a cliche that God brought me this far to let me fail. So I didn't look at it as a failure. I looked at it as there was a transition, that's something that God either did not want me in that place or he wanted me to be somewhere else, to be able to bring light and to be able to educate people, to inform people. Because I believe that my entire experience, my journey here is to inform. It's to educate, to inform, and to tell the truth. And I've always stood on that, and I've always been successful when I did that. But when I didn't feel that I was being true to myself and true to God and not being successful, I could really feel it in my personal life and in my professional life. So I knew that as long as I was being real to God, and that at the end of the day, if I just let go and let God, that he would show me, or she would show me where I needed to be. And here it is. I'm still going through the journey.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing that people don't understand is that the journey continues throughout your life. You never get to a point where you go, okay, that's it. I don't need to learn anymore.
I'm good.
I don't need to know anything else about God. I don't have to go to church anymore. I don't have to do whatever. And that's not true. But by the way, in the book, you'll find out God is not church. Faith is not church. That all helps. It's like going to school. It's like, when you're young, you learn things at home, then you go to nursery school and you learn a little bit more, and then you go to kindergarten, you learn a bit more.
Keep going and you keep
Elementary
going,
school,
you
and then
keep
you keep going. And that happens the same thing on your faith journey. It never ends. It just keeps evolving into something better.
And I want to thank you for being so open and so candid just about your experience there, especially, you're in the public eye, everything that happened with CNN. What helps you to just be so open about that experience within itself?
Oh, okay, so part of what helped me to be so open. The second to really answer your question is that you learn through pain. Mm-hmm. Anytime you're going to learn or you're going to grow, you have to grow through, there has to be some sort of pain involved, and not necessarily, where it's where you can't overcome it. It's if you're trying to improve your body, right? You've got to go, you got to exercise, you got to lift weights, you got to do whatever. That's not pleasant, right? It's not like you can just sit on the couch and do that. If you're trying to lose weight, like you have to watch your diet, that's not pleasant. And you're like, man, that chicken smells good. So So you learn through pain. The reason I'm so open about it is because I believe that visibility is important.
Yeah.
I believe that transparency is important. My first book was called Transparent because I think you need to, if you really want to be a role model of sorts. I hate to use that term as like I'm a role model, but if you really want to teach people, if you really want to inform people, if you really want to be an example for people, you've got to be open. And if you look at the people who are most successful people, especially as black people, it's people who have been really open about who they are in their journey. I remember watching television back in, I think it was the 90s, and there was a story that came out about Oprah, and that she had had an abortion, and they were going to put it in the National Enquirer, and they were going to embarrass her, and she just said, yeah, it's true.
It's true. And that's just it.
It's true. And
the narrative.
And I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. And it's like, wow, okay. And if you look at the transparency of Jesus, there's no more transparent than being on a cross with no
laying
clothes.
Everything down, right?
Laying
Laying everything on the line.
everything to bear. So I believe that I'm not comparing myself to Jesus. So when you write about this, don't say that.
That
I'm
won't
just
be in there,
using
I
it as an
promise.
example to show you that transparency is really important.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that there. And I just want to take a moment and pause because we've been talking about a lot so far. And I just want to know, like, call out to me, folks in the audience, what is sticking out to you from this conversation so far? Say that again.
Faith.
Courage. Faith,
Thank you.
Right? Courage. I was hoping somebody would say that. Courage, courage, courage. Because it takes a lot of courage to just be here and not only share your truth, but be so transparent, as you said, about it. And so...
Can I say something about that?
Yeah, of course.
I think as sometimes, I'm speaking for myself and maybe those in my family, I don't know you guys, but sometimes as people of color, as black people, we can be a little bit, we don't want to step out. We don't want to talk about kitchen table things. Oh, that's family business.
Family business
We don't want to do
only.
all of those things. And I understand that because I come from that background. But I think that in many ways, we have to get over that. And we have to have courage because we're not the only ones. We're not the only ones who have problems.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones who have things that we deem may be embarrassing to happen to us. I mean, why are we embarrassed? Look at the person who has 34, criminal counts against him and babies, mamas, and all kinds of things. But yet we're embarrassed. And they were saying, oh, we can never have a black president because... And look at the one we had just before, what's happening, and could be in there again. So we have to stop being so, closed up and thinking like, oh my God, I can't be transparent. I can't talk about the person in my family who has an addiction issue. I can't talk about mental health issues. I can't talk about the person in my family who may be gay or transgender or lesbian or whatever. Those are all issues that we need to discuss so that people don't succumb to unhealthy things that can happen to them, like mental health issues, like suicide, like isolation, like doing things that are harmful and they don't even realize it because out of
Because
guilt
no
or
one talks
shame or
about it.
embarrassment.
Right.
And that relates. Faith can have a big. Faith plays an important role in that, but it's also, as we say, faith without works is dead. I remember when I was coming out, my aunt, who's very, very religious, churchy religious, right? And she said, you don't need that. You just need to go talk to the pastor. You just need to pray. And I said, it's not just that, because God puts experts in the world to help you deal with issues. Because if we just wanted to pray, then we wouldn't need surgeons. If we just wanted to pray, we wouldn't need a lot of things. We need experts to help us get through things. So some of the issues that we deal with, especially around mental health, there should not be any stigma around it because it's no different than having some part of your body that doesn't work the way that it used to. Come here, say again. Come on. See how God works?
That is
New Orleans man.
How you
Hey,
doing?
Val.
What were you saying back there?
My nephew is 18 and he's dealing with mental health. He jumped off the One Canal Street building. He didn't know how to jump. If he would have went head first, he would have died. He went feet first. But he fractured everything, broken everything, but he's still living.
But he's living.
So God wasn't ready. It wasn't his expiration date.
Is he seeing someone?
He is. And then he's great. He plays 6 instruments. He goes to Jesuit. We just don't know what's going on.
Thank you for coming up here and sharing that with us. We appreciate you.
See how God works? Thank you. Thank you. And bless you. I love you too. So if you stay around, I want to see you afterwards. I'll talk to you. But
And I love that you just took a moment and made space for us to just talk about that and for her to have that moment and to share that. So just thank you for that. I just wanted to make sure
oh my
we
God,
acknowledge that.
I mean, come on, guys.
I just really wanted, because, you
Yeah.
know, you didn't have to, but you did. And I
Thank
think
you.
that says a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And you are from here in Louisiana.
Baton Rouge, or as we say, Baton Rouge, right up the road.
And how did your upbringing here, particularly in the black church here in Louisiana, shape your views on faith? And how has it evolved since then? You know, so much growth, so many different things, so many life experiences.
I travel all over the world, and there are no people that can match the people in Louisiana. We're of a different breed. I don't know if you guys are from Louisiana, but we're different here. When they say things hit different here,
hits different in
we're
Louisiana.
way more open. Our culture is different. We talk loud. We like to share a lot. People think we're fighting, but we're actually having a conversation. We like to eat whatever is. We love to drink. Okay. So for me, it's not that hard to be open because I grew up just in a culture that's that way, a culture that's larger than life, where you come and you celebrate jazz and you celebrate Mardi Gras and you celebrate wearing loud purple and green colors. And we're in the Bible Belt, and you go to church and you talk about your faith openly, and you celebrate God, and you celebrate even religion, and even our culture, is it food and whatever. Our culinary culture is a religion for us. Dancing is a religion for us. The arts is a religion for us. So I think that just sort of, it was, as they say here, it's in my blood, baby. It's in my blood, baby.
And I love that we got to just get a little insight into that, right? Because people see the polished journalist, the professional, the author, but I love that you just give us some down-home New Orleans flavor, Louisiana flavor in general.
Thank you, but look, the professional, all of that. I'm no different than anybody else. I'm blessed to be aligned with where I believe I'm supposed to be in this world, on this journey.
Yeah.
And then the moment that you figure that out, then you shine as well. Nothing can stop me now,
okay.
right?
All the way up,
Yeah,
right?
I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
So
The weird thing that sort of makes me different when we're discussing politics and people say, "Oh my God, I don't like both sizing everything when it doesn't deserve that." Mm-hmm. But as I said to you earlier, I went to a Catholic school, but on Sunday I was in the Baptist church.
Yeah.
So, I was standing up, kneeling down every Friday, praying at church, and then on Sunday I was like, "Yes, Lord!" Oh! And falling off of my grandmother's lap. I'm not lying. That's what my church was like. And you would walk in, the usher board would walk in, and the chorus.
I love this
beat,
imagery right here, by the way. I love it. It's very vivid. It's very vivid.
It's in the book. I talk about it. I talk about how everybody would get in formation on Sunday. It's a production. It is a production. And then the book it leads you on this journey, and you may end up shouting by the end of the first chapter.
Listen, and we get to come on that journey with you. So that brings me right into my next question. So you recently married your longtime partner, and we want to just wish you congratulations and blessings on your union. Please clap it up for that. Clap it up for love, right?
Thank you.
And I think one thing I wanted to ask you here is, we're so happy for you that you found your someone in this world, but there are many people who don't believe in marriage equality and your rights as a gay man. How does your faith And how has your faith helped you to navigate that and those naysayers?
Well, look, if you don't believe in same-sex marriage, then don't marry someone of the same sex. That's all. I mean,
Plain
it's
and
just that
simple,
simple.
right?
So
that was a mic drop moment.
yes.
Literally.
So for me, it's easy, and I say the same thing. Look, I'm not personally. I don't think anyone is pro-abortion. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to speak for women. But what I will say is that I believe that it's a woman's choice. So if you don't want to have an abortion, if you don't believe in abortion, if you don't believe in, then don't do it. But don't tell other people what to do. So I say the same thing about marriage, because the people use the same book. I love that you have my book. I see you over there. She has my book that came out before This Is the Fire. People use the same Bible verses to subjugate women, to enslave black people, right? To subjugate and marginalize Native Americans or any kind of minority, to control people, to twist any sort of narrative. And so it's all in the interpretation. So if people want to control you and tell you what to do, they will interpret the word
the way they want to.
To discriminate. But if you notice, where was Jesus? He wasn't in the church.
He was out with the people.
He was hanging out with the lepers and the thieves and the oldest profession of women who were in the oldest profession in the world.
You were saying Jesus was he was in the streets, right?
I'm saying Jesus was a man of the people. Jesus was not being in church like
telling you what to do, how to do it.
Okay, you need to sit here and oh no, God does not. That's not what God is about. So if you can't use God, if God does not make you more open to being a human being, to make you more humane and more loving, then our concept of God is wrong. God is not a big boss sitting on top of us, judging us and saying, if you do this, you're bad, you're going to go to hell, you're going to do that. That's not what it is.
So what you're saying is, or if I'm getting this correct, what you're saying is God is the person that walks with you, or God walks with you. God is not judging you. God is there to listen and to guide, but not to tell you necessarily what to do. Right,
because God gives me free will, right, to be able to do what I want to do, but also God does walk with me. So if someone doesn't believe in same-sex marriage, then okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But it's just because you don't believe in same-sex marriage, don't tell me that I can't have the same rights as you as an American. I'm not going to, if that's your faith, if your faith tells you to believe that, then that's fine. But then also we have to believe in a constitution that there's a separation of church and state. Mm-hmm. So I want to be able to have the same rights as you. I do care in a way about what you believe because it affects me as a human being, but then another way I don't really care about what you believe as long as legally I have the same rights as you. Yeah. I can marry the person I want to marry. I can get the job that I want to get. I have the same tax benefits that you have.
That you're entitled to.
And otherwise, I mean, you want to be honest? As when my mom would say, I would say, Mom, where are you and Dad going? She would say, none of your business. That's none of your business. Mind your own business. And if people minded their own business, we'd be in a lot better place in this world.
Clap it up for that and that candor there. Thank you so much for that response, your thoughtful response there, and also just reminding us that, again, right, you don't have to necessarily believe or agree, but that's why we have these rights here.
That's why we're in America, for religious freedom, right?
That's right. So I want.
Oh, y'all are going through it with the Ten Commandments too, but whatever.
There's a lot happening in the country right now. We have about 7 minutes left, and I have a couple more questions here. And I want to also make sure that we open it up for audience questions. So we now see that you are on YouTube providing us with much needed, thoughtful analysis, news,
are you watching
everything.
Okay. The Don Lemon Show on YouTube. Like and subscribe. People will say, "Oh, I want you to be back on TV." I'm like, I am on TV. It's just a different transmission,
a different way to
process.
To see
right.
So tell us.
Like and subscribe. Go to the Don Lemon Show on YouTube.
Come on,
I'm live every day at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock
Eastern
Central.
time. So talk to us a little bit about how that's been for you. What has that been like? and like how things are going with being on YouTube, the response to you, and just getting to still see you on in some way, on some platform, and get that great analysis and candor that we enjoy from you all these years.
So I'm on YouTube, I'm on Spotify, I'm on Apple, I'm on iHeart, I'm on all of those platforms, wherever you can get streaming content. But go on the YouTube so that you can watch, because I think it's a much better experience.
Yeah. I mean, because we got to see the personality, hear you.
Yes. But the thing is like you don't see. I very rarely wear a tie. I think the only time I wore a tie is when I interviewed my dear friend Linda Thomas Greenfield, who's a U.S. ambassador to the UN, and that was the only time. But here's the thing: people don't want everything. What I didn't realize when I was in cable news, they don't want everything so perfect. Everybody's so made up. Everything's so fake. They want to take some of the barriers away, right? And so I'm just going to be really honest with you guys. I spent all of this money on a studio and cameras and lighting, when I left CNN to do this thing. And then I said, I have to start building a community. This is different because I actually get to interact with the audience rather than just sitting there every night and saying, blah, 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 let's go to the commercial. Okay, we're back. Now I said, I need to interact with my community. So I said to my producer, why don't we do a show every day at 5 o'clock? We'll call it Lemon Live at 5. And the subscribers will come in, they will put comments in the thing, and we'll just talk to them and answer them. And they can say whatever they want, and we can do whatever we want. And that way we build a community. Everyone in that thing said, we don't need you in the studio. We just want you in your living room. So I do it from my living room. I do that show, but I have my big interview show and shows that I do in this fancy studio that I got. But nobody wants to see me in the studio.
People just want to literally come into the living room and have a conversation. They just want to chat with you.
I mean, look at Club Shay Shay, right? He's sitting and he's having more of an impact. If you look at the people who are really having impacts now, they're doing it in streaming, and they're doing it with fewer barriers between them and
meeting people where they are,
right,
literally.
and the user meeting, because this is where most people are all the time. They're on social media, even television. My friend called me and said, I'm watching the debate. I said, where? On my phone? And so, you don't really need all of that. God bless them, it's great, but you don't really need all of that. So for me, it's freedom.
Yeah.
You can't cancel me. I can say whatever I want to say.
Right?
I can do whatever I want to do.
Back there.
It's because I said something that you misinterpret, right? Or you don't let me explain, and you go, that's a reason to get rid of them, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm free.
Yeah, you're good. You're free.
I'm good. I'm free.
So last question here is, what advice do you have for our audience members when it comes to their relationship with faith, their journey, their walk with faith? Because as you said, you discovered, you rediscovered, you're on a journey, you're still on that journey.
Faith is not about judgment, especially judging yourself. Faith is not about fear, especially fearing what you can become, right? Or judging what you are or where you've been. Everybody has issues. The moment you realize that nobody is perfect, that perfection is boring.
We gotta get that on a shirt somewhere. Perfection is boring.
Have you ever been to a place that's just really perfect? Some house that's really perfect that looks like nobody lives in it?
Nobody lives there, it's character.
Boring AF, right? I like going over to people's houses where it's a little messy. The skillet that's on the stove has got the grease in it, right? You got the grease on the side that you keep in the bacon.
Somebody lives here.
Because it's a home and people live there. So make sure someone lives within you. And make sure someone lives within you. And just go easy on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And if there was one, stop comparing yourself to people, especially on social media. Because remember, for every picture that you see, there were 20 of, oh wait, that's not right. Oh wait, hold on, no. Oh wait, the light. Hold on. Oh, this is good. And then after you get the right angle, then you got to get the right filter. So which is what I was saying about being on traditional news channels. Yeah. It's the same thing. So just be you. Don't be afraid to not wear makeup. Don't be afraid, just be. When people ask me, why do you think that you resonated on television, or especially on cable, and there's all these people on CNN or MSNBC or whatever, and why was it you who resonated? Because I was authentic. What you see on the screen is who I am in person. Sometimes you can be a little too real for people. As you know, I'm not there anymore. And then, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So don't just be you. Perfection is boring, and stop comparing yourself to people, especially on social media.
Thank you so much, Don Lemon. Please clap
That's
it
it.
up. That's it. That's
The Don
it.
Lemon Show.
Please let us know, when is the book coming out?
The book is September 17th. So can you guys please go pre-order?
I
Because
once
I
was
really,
lost, Don Lemon, September 17th. Make sure you support. Make sure you go pick it up.
I once was lost. My search for God in America. Make sure that book that she has, This Is a Fire, that came out during the pandemic, and George Floyd debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestseller. So I would like to get this one somewhere close. So make sure you pre-order the book.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
You're so
Dom.
awesome.
You're
Thank you so much.
amazing.